Hey yo, thanks for tuning in to The Source, your source for celebrity news. Alright, so let's get into it with the question of the day. And the question of the day is this. If you were wrongfully arrested for a crime and facing life in prison, and you had to pick one of the artists below to be your attorney and argue your case, who would you choose and why? Are you going with Kanye West Esquire, Drake Attorney at Law, DJ Khaled, Nicki Minaj, Soulja Boy, Boosie Badass, Cardi B, or Ray J? Which one of these artists would you trust to get you out of jail? I don't know, y'all. I think I might have to go with Nicki or Cardi, but that's my choice. Let me know who you would choose down below, and while you're down there leaving your choice, be sure to hit that like button. Now, somebody else who seems to be struggling with a difficult choice is Ray J, because Ray J is over there trying to figure out whether or not he should bring back the flat top the kid from Kid and Play used to rock back in the day. I don't know, y'all. Should Ray J bring back the 7-inch flat top with the fade? Or should Ray J remind his barber that it's 2025 and he needs to give him the Caesar with the part? Alright, so unlike Ray J, 50 Cent is not trying to deal with no 90s 2000 throwback-ish. And that's the reason why. He's out here on a daily reminding Big Meech that you used to be a kingpin, son, but now you're just some old washed up dude who just got out of the pen king, and if you keep coming for me, I'm gonna son you. Okay, so here's a quick recap. Big Meech was the head of one of America's most notorious narcotic syndicates, BMF, in the 90s and 2000s, until he got locked up. Now, while Big Meech was locked up, 50 Cent decided that he was going to do a show about his life called BMF, and as a courtesy, Curtis Jackson paid for Big Meech's son Little Meech to take 2 years worth of acting classes so that he could play the role of his father and have a little come up. Alright, so Little Meech becomes a star on Stars overnight, and the role basically changes his life. However, when Big Meech got out of jail, instead of giving 50 Cent his respect and props for looking out for his son, Big Meech immediately aligned himself with Rick Ross, who we all know is one of 50's biggest ops.
Now this is a situation I did not see coming. If you are unfamiliar with the guys in this photo, this is 50 Cent. And this is Big Meech. I don't know 50 Cent personally, but the one thing I do know about 50 is that he is all about loyalty and respect. And it's looking like Big Meech may have just lost all the respect he had from 50 Cent because of some photos that Big Meech took with Rick Ross. And you know, 50 and Rick Ross, they don't get along at all. But Big Meech, who we all know to be the founder of BMF, has been showing Rick Ross plenty of love lately, and 50 is not with it. So 50 took it to Instagram to vent a little bit of his frustration, which he usually does, and he posted a caption. He posted a picture of a rat with the caption that read, "I think I'm Big Meech," and he actually stated the biggest mistake he ever made was not sustaining his relationship with Tammy Cohen. In parentheses, her tell-all docu reveals the truth. Now let's analyze this. 50 Cent literally put BMF, the brand, the show, on his back and turned it into one of the biggest series out right now. He gave Lil Meech, which is Meech's son, an opportunity of a lifetime, which literally changed his life and turned him into a star by allowing him to play his father in the show. You would think that type of gesture would get you some sort of loyalty. At this point, there are rumors that this will be the last season of BMF because of all the craziness going on right now.
Okay, so after 50 Cent saw that Big Meech was running around these streets with Ricky Rose, he dropped a bombshell. And he was like, listen, the only reason why Big Meech is free today is because he snitched to get out of jail. Shortly after that, Big Meech jumped on social media and he was like, I never folded, I never told, never will, death before dishonor, always with me. Then, Big Meech continued on to promote his Welcome Back concert that he was throwing with Rick Ross. Now, mysteriously, the concert ended up getting canceled, and when people began to speculate that 50 Cent shut the concert down with just one push of a button, 50 Cent wrote, I had nothing to do with this. Please, stop calling my phone. I sincerely hope you have a nice day today. Happy Valentine's Day. I'm stronger than you think I am. Alright, so after taking that L, Big Meech and Rick Ross both jumped online to announce that Rick Ross is now going to be producing the official BMF movie.
Yeah, so look, I do want to do a BMF film because you've been entertained by a lackluster, small budget series. Now it's time to do a big budget film. Which director Shout out to my homie F. Gary Gray, Antoine Foucault, what's up? Tarantino. It's a lot of legends. This is gonna be big. I can feel it. I'm just talking.
Okay, so after seeing Rick Ross jump online and say that he's getting ready to make the biggest big budget film about BMF that's ever been made, 50 Cent jumped back online and he wrote, "They gonna say somebody press me. You can't press me, fool. All you can do is make me nervous. And you don't want to make me nervous because I start doing ish. LOL." Listen, let me tell you something. If it's simply based on like the social media posts, 50 Cent wins every time. But all I'm gonna say about this is this. Rick Ross, how many different times and how many different ways do we have to watch the same two dudes selling drugs? Listen, 50 already did it. We saw it. It's done. Do something else. I mean, for real, we already know how that story begins, we already know the middle, and we already know how it ends. It ends with Big Meech sitting on a couch doing a social media post, trying to explain to everybody that he's not a snitch.
I wasn't going to address this, because I'm not trying to let nobody trick me off the streets. But I never folded, never told, never will. Death before dishonor, always with me.
Okay, so peep this. The other night, Bill Maher was doing his show Real Time with HBO, and basically he was like, Kendrick Lamar's obsessed with Drake, and he needs to move on already. When discussing the ongoing beef and Super Bowl halftime show, Bill Maher said, Kendrick Lamar has to get over Drake. 6 diss tracks and a halftime performance? That's not beef, that's the remake of Single White Female. Frank Sinatra made 1,400 records, and not one was hating on Tony Bennett. Stevie Wonder never made an album called Ray Charles Can Kiss My Black ASS. Well, here's the thing, Bill Maher. 1, Frank Sinatra wasn't a rapper, neither was Tony Bennett, nor was Stevie Wonder. So, comparing Kendrick Lamar to any one of those artists is a false comparison. 2, how in the world is Kendrick Lamar obsessed with Drake? During the battle, they both dropped multiple songs and Kendrick's song became the song of the year. So, he performed the song of the year at the Super Bowl. That's not called being obsessed. That's called performing the song of the year that everybody wants to hear at the Super Bowl. I mean, I don't get it. I really don't get it. You're running around talking about Kendrick Lamar is obsessed with Drake, but yet you don't say anything about Drake still trying to sneak diss Kendrick on an album called Some Sexy Songs for You. Really? But you know what this tells me about Bill Maher and all of these Drake stans? This is your brain. This is Drake. This is your brain on Drake. You understand what I'm saying? Listen, let me know down below. Do you agree with Bill Maher when he says that Kendrick Lamar is obsessed with Drake? I mean, Single White Female obsessed with Drake, and that he needs to get over it. Yo, you want to hear something hilarious? I was watching clips of the All-Star game this weekend, right? And as I'm watching it, I'm thinking to myself, oh my goodness, every chick in the WNBA is now going to have a backache after having to bend down to say hello to Kevin Hart. Watch this.
I gotta bend down low. He doesn't? No. Because you want to watch your videos. For no reason. Alright, hey, you're mad we got you. For what? Wait. Stand up straight. Wait. Look
so stupid. Both of y'all sizes.
Now, do you guys all remember the Bernie Mac show? And the 3 kids and the older sister Nessa who seemed to have a little common sense? Why? Because Bernie Mac was instilling wisdom into her week after week? Well, it turns out that now Nessa, aka Camille Winbush, is now doing OnlyFans. And Nessa, aka Camille Winbush, says that she was able to make $921,000 in her first week. Now, after Nessa, aka Camille Winbush, announced that she was over there on OnlyFans making a big bucks, a whole bunch of people came into the comment section, and one person was like, Bernie turning in his grave. I gotta tell you, it always bothers me when you see these young, rising, up-and-coming stars on these TV shows when they're mad young. And you're looking at them and you're like, oh my goodness, this kid is so smart, witty, intelligent. I mean, they got the whole package. And then you see him again 20 years later, and this is what happens. And what's equally disturbing to me is this. How in the world did little Nessa make about $1 million on OnlyFans in 1 week? I mean, come on. I understand that men and women are built different, but if I watch you on TV and I watch you come of age on a TV series, nothing in me wants to see you bear it all. I mean, really, I was much younger than Gary Coleman when he was doing Different Strokes, but even then, because he was playing a kid, nothing in me was ever like, ooh, I got to see what Gary Coleman's working with. I mean, come on, dudes, y'all gotta do better. This is Little Nessa. Now, after Little Nessa, aka Camille Winbush, let everybody know that she was over there raking in the dough on OnlyFans by showing her tatas. She also did an interview in which she said, what do y'all expect her to do? Even though she's had a few 9-to-5 jobs ever since she stopped doing the Bernie Mac show, the checks from the Bernie Mac show have dried up. So, she needs to do something to pay her bills.
Oh, those Bernie Mac checks must have dried up, or like from a job 20 years ago when I was a 12-year-old. Yeah, like duh.
Because we think the residuals are still coming through though.
I mean, they do, but
it's not.
Listen, if I was on Friends making $1 million an episode, yes, those residual checks would still be very nice. But as time goes on, they get smaller and smaller every year. You're not making the same amount that you were when the show was current per episode.
Right. So,
as someone who was just a kid, don't get me wrong, still making good money. Mm-hmm. But 20 years later, those checks are not sustainable for a living. And with the industry being as fickle as it is, you can't count on any job to last or even to book a job. So over the years, I have done regular 9-to-5s.
Alright, so after listing some of the jobs that she's had, which included owning an ice cream shop and also teaching gymnastics to kids, Camille Winbush went on to say that if she can make mad dough from the comfort of her own home, that's what she's getting ready to do. You know something? She's grown now, so she can do whatever she wants to do. But as somebody who watched her grow up on TV, seeing how intelligent she was, I just wish that she could find a way to make mad dough without showing off her tatas. Now, did y'all know that the other day Suge Knight was doing an interview with Art of the Dialogue, and while he was doing the interview, he actually revealed that before Tupac passed away, he actually had the opportunity to go see Aaliyah perform live. And after he saw Aaliyah perform, he was like, oh my goodness, I just love her. She's a 1 in a million talent. I want to do an album with her, and I want to sign her.
So I took Tupac to go see Gladys Knight perform in Louisville, Vegas. So when she was performing, she brought out her niece by marriage. And Aaliyah started singing. And Tupac said, don't get up. I said, why? He said, because Gladys Knight know you. You're going to speak to Gladys Knight. Then you're going to talk to the little girl singing. The next thing you know, you're going to be doing an album on her. He said, I'm going to go talk to her. You come later on because I want to do an album on Aaliyah. He didn't know her name. So Pac was so excited. I'm talking about, I ain't never seen that little motherfucker so happy. He wasn't thinking about signing nobody else. That's the person he said out of all the girls and women he ever seen, he thought she was the biggest star and had the best voice ever. So I figured if things would have happened the way it happened, Pac would have been doing an album on Aaliyah.
Listen, this doesn't surprise me one bit, and I'm sure that if Tupac and Aaliyah had linked up, they would have definitely made a hit. Because here's the thing about Aaliyah that a lot of people don't give her credit for. Aaliyah was ahead of her time. And not only was she ahead of her time, but she was a leader. She wasn't out here following anybody. I mean, think about it. Nobody in the music industry was doing what Aaliyah was doing when Aaliyah was doing it. Sure, TLC came out with the baggy pants and Left Eye had the eye patch first on Ain't Too Proud to Beg. But when TLC first did it, they sort of came off like the adult version of Another Bad Creation. Y'all remember Another Bad Creation? Whatever happened to them? Anyhow, when Aaliyah did it, she had a whole different swag that chicks like SZA have been trying to recreate and pull off until this very day. And speaking of Aaliyah's swag, did y'all know that part of the reason why Maya got blackballed from the industry is because of Aaliyah? And I know, some of y'all are out there right now like, what you talking about, Sauce? Alright, let me put you on. After Aaliyah passed away in a fatal plane crash, the record company was like, oh my goodness, what are we gonna do? That's our moneymaker. How are we gonna replace Aaliyah? And they were like, okay, we were banking on Aaliyah, but now that Aaliyah's gone, what artists do we have on the roster that we can sort of put some money behind to turn into the next Aaliyah? And guess whose name just so happened to come up? You guessed it, Maya. But this is where things took a turn, because after the record company decided that they were going to try to turn Maya into the next Aaliyah, and they were like, listen, we're going to give you a Beyonce budget before there was even a Beyonce. They were like, but there's one condition. Even though we really like what you're doing with the tap dancing and stuff, Aaliyah was what we would consider to be sexy, whereas what you are is what we would consider to be cute. So what we're gonna need you to do is, if we're gonna put all of this money behind you, we're gonna need you to turn up the sexy. In other words, we're gonna need you to take off a whole bunch of your clothes, we're gonna need you to gyrate a whole lot more, and we're also gonna need you to adjust your personality so that you come off to the public like a hoe in heat. Guarantee you, if you make these few adjustments and you go on tour and act like a 304, we will make sure that by the end of this year, you have about 24 Grammys. Now, after the record labels laid that deal in Maya's lap and they were basically like, yo, we're getting ready to give you the world and all you have to do is sexify your image up and also hold down your music, they thought it was a done deal because they thought that Maya was going to jump at the chance to become the next Aaliyah. However, Maya was like, hell no, I'm not doing that. First off, I'm the first Maya. I don't need to be anybody else. And two, I don't feel like I need to be dressed in a thong in order to sing R&B. So, if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna turn down your deal and I'm gonna go back to doing me over there. The only problem is that the powers that be in the record industry don't like this little thing called integrity. So they were like, Maya, hun, come here. We gotta tell you something. You may have gotten it twisted because the deal that we just offered you may have sounded optional, but it's not optional. So either you're gonna do what we say or we're gonna ruin your career and you're gonna be blackballed from the business. And there you have it. That's how Aaliyah and Maya's careers are intrinsically linked. Listen, let me tell you something. I have mad respect for Maya, and I'm gonna tell you why. We're always talking about how all of these hip-hop artists and all of these R&B artists sell their souls just to get the bag. But Maya actually did the opposite. She had the bag, and she let it go because she wasn't getting ready to sell her soul. Listen, we're always talking about how these artists and celebrities are always out here doing wrong and doing selfish deeds just to get the bag. But I also think it's important to take a few moments to celebrate the artists and celebrities who actually do right. And Maya is one of those artists who actually did the right thing. And really quick, check out this clip of Maya talking to Lil' Kim and Chili about the double standard that exists in the business.
What are y'all talking about?
Everything from like babies to the industry. lot of my friends don't go through that. You know, they're not.
So the level of understanding is not there. I mean, how could they truly understand that?
It's true.
Yeah.
They're not really in the industry with that.
They don't really get it.
You're beautiful and successful and a boss. You're gonna get talked about. You're gonna get called all kinds of names from diva to bitch. Because I've heard stuff about me. I've been called a whore. I've been called a hoe. I've been called a slut, a scut. Like, you said, I've been accused of sleeping with men that I haven't even met. Like, or people that I've done videos and songs with, you know. And it's sad because there's a double standard in this society and women are shunned.
No matter what you do.
Yeah. No matter how successful you get in any profession, but especially in this entertainment business, you will always hear something bad about yourself. I have spent most of my life being perfect, and it's just never been hair down, let loose, be free. That's what's been lacking in my life, and I'm really looking forward to getting more of that from this trip.
Listen, let me tell you something. Even though certain record executives and record labels have tried their darndest throughout the years to blackball Maya, Maya has proven time and time again that no matter what they do, you can't keep a good girl down, especially when that good girl has some talent.
Can't explain why your love it makes me weak. I try hard to fight it. No one cannot deny it. Your love so sweet knocks me off my feet, and I get so weak in the knees I can hardly speak. I lose all control and something takes over me. In a day your love so amazing. It's not like I want you to stay with me by my side. I swallow my pride. Your love is so sweet, knocks me right off. Can't explain why your love it makes me. Can't explain why your love it makes me weak.
Okay, so based on Maya's career, we all know that there's a button that the gatekeepers can push to turn your career off. But why is Jermaine Dupri out here trying to argue that prior to streaming, there was no button that any person or gatekeeper could push to make an artist successful?
For the longest, niggas have believed that it's a button to be pushed in the music industry before streaming. So I posted the message, and there's a lot of people in my comments that were saying that's cap. It's been a button that you could push. And LA is basically not telling the truth. So I started hitting the people that I seen say this, and I said, y'all name an artist that got the button pushed on them that wasn't a star before streaming. Now, what I left out of that statement is that you gotta have a hit record too. This is just bottom line. You can't just So I want somebody to tell me an artist that came out that didn't have a hit record, that wasn't a star, that got the button pushed on them. Let me say that because I saw some of y'all say, I seen somebody say Milli Vanilli, and I wanted to really comment on the Milli Vanilli part, right? Because somebody's like Milli Vanilli, they had a hit record, and they weren't even singing the song. And I guess that makes you feel like there was a button push, right? But the first part, please listen, and wait. This is another thing I want to say. I don't understand you people that's on social media that read or listen without comprehension. I said before streaming, and somebody just typed Ice Spice. I said before streaming. Please listen to what I'm talking about.
Okay, so check this out. After I heard Jermaine Dupri say that, I called my man who's a Grammy Award winning producer, and I didn't tell him the full context, but I was like, yo, can you think of an artist who had the button pushed on them before they had a hit song? And you know who that person said to me before they even heard the backstory? Crisscross. They were like, yo, Jermaine ran into those kids in the mall, saw him wearing the backwoods clothes, and he was like, I'ma make these dudes into stars. And then Jermaine gave him the hit song.
It was these two kids in the mall, and people were paying attention to them.
Chris and Chris, they had gone to the barbershop that day, and they both had fresh haircuts.
So I walked up to them. I'm like, yo, what do y'all do? And they was like, we don't do nothing. We just kick it. Do y'all rap? And it's like, nah, we don't rap. But they had the swag.
And he said, yeah, my name's Jermaine Dupri, and I'm looking for an act.
They couldn't rap, so my mind immediately was just like, let's try to teach them the culture.
They didn't know about the stage energy and all of that.
Flip the jump around and let's go to the mall. And he's like, wear it backwards? I'm like, yeah, wear it backwards. When I started messing with the Jackson 5 sample, I took the bass line and I just repeated boom, boom, boom. And then I took another piece of this funky worm and I put that on top of it. People start jumping and they start jumping in the videos. So I'm like, I'm gonna pick this up and say what they're doing. Jump, 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 jump. And from there, the rest is history.
Oh my goodness, that's hilarious, because the person who I was talking to on the phone didn't even know that I was referring to Jermaine Dupri. So, according to them, the person who's out here talking about that there's no button to be pushed is somebody who allegedly has pushed the button. Listen, let me know what you think about Jermaine Dupri saying that before streaming, there was no button that anybody could push to make somebody into a successful artist. Now, of course, there's no literal button that anybody can push, but if you put enough money behind an artist, you can make that person into a star. For example, J-Lo and Britney Spears. Baby, baby. Listen, neither one of those chicks can sing, but somebody decided they were going to be a star and they put the money behind them, and now they're superstars. And trust me, that does not happen without a button push, because neither one of them chicks can sing worth a lick.
The delusion is crazy. Why is the jig not up on Jennifer Lopez? Why? The jig is up. The jig is up. The jig is up today. Like, why is y'all? Every time I see Jennifer Lopez sing and she be up there belting out like it sound good, and the audience, I'm thinking, am I crazy? Am I crazy?
Yo, let your boy know, is he crazy or was J-Lo a button push? Anyhow, let me know what you think about Jermaine Dupri saying that there's no button that any gatekeeper can push to make an artist successful or to turn them into a bona fide superstar. The button can only speed up the natural processes that are already going to take place. Listen, let me know what you think about everything that we covered in today's video, and while you're down there leaving a comment, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel and share this video with your friends. Hey yo, thanks for tuning in to The Source, your source for celebrity news. Peace.